What's up, guys? Welcome back to Verified Profits. I'm Eric and I'm here to give you my Week 2 updated power rankings of all 8 teams in the UFL. Also, I got all predictions for the 4 games coming up this week. Let's do this. Week 2 UFL spring football. Let's go! Updated power rankings for Week 2. Number 1, Dallas Renegades. Number 2, Orlando Storm. Number 3, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Number 4, Columbus Aviators. Number 5, DC Defenders. Number 6, the Birmingham Stallions. Number 7, Louisville Kings. And number 8, Houston Gamblers. The results from week 1 weren't too bad. We broke even. We had 2 right, 2 wrong, even though we could have had 4 right. Because the Renegades nailed it. The Stallions barely made it. Aviators had a chance. And the Defenders, oof, implosion. That's all I can say. But now we got a little bit more info. Gives us a little bit of edge going into week 2. First game up, DC Defenders heading to Columbus Aviators. Last week, Defenders, they started pretty good. And then they just got worse and worse, and by the time it hit the end, oof, they were all fighting on defense. That was an implosion. They really should have taken that, but I think they'll learn a little bit from that. It's just tough to see it as it happens. Play calling was pretty good on the offense, but it did start to slow and stall into the enemy's territory. Red zone, atrocious. 3rd and long was pretty decent success rate. Teamu's good. His passing game is strong. He's mobile when needed. He's aware, and that's what you need to not fall out of playoffs in the UFL. Running backs, they had some strong runners, man. Goal line, high strength. Good hands on their wide receivers, and their routes were pretty nice. The defense had some pretty good play calling. They had a pretty strong pass rush, and their run stop was pretty good. The goal line defense with the run stop, pretty elite for the Defenders. Special teams made the 60-yarder. Given that implosion at the end, it really knocked them down a little bit. They got to recover from that. They dug a hole really bad at the end like that. Got to stay composed. And the Columbus Aviators, I kind of like them. They know they're new coaches, and they're aware of that. But they are trying. Good offensive play calling. They controlled the time of possession. The defense was okay in spots, but overall ended up losing it. Gave them a chance. Offense just couldn't get it done. I think McClendon has a little bit of work to do, but I do have faith they're going to get better throughout the season. The Aviators have a pretty good run game. Of course, you got Tuatawa at running back, so that's pretty beastly. And then you got White, who's pretty explosive, but they just could not score in the red zone. The wide receivers with Chisholm are strong. Wells Jr., high energy. Those dudes want that ball. Those wide receivers are strong. The Aviators' defense fooled so many times. That's why I ranked the Storm a little bit higher in my power rankings, because they just seem to know how to fool the defense. And they did it consistently. The pass rush for the defense was pretty good. Forced Plummer out of the pocket quite a bit. The thing that really crushed them was the opening kickoff when the Aviators fumbled it. Turned it over. And of course the Storm's going to capitalize, and they did. So I'm going to take the Aviators to beat the Defenders in Columbus for week 2. Call it wild, but we're going to see that defense is going to step up, and McClendon is going to dial it in a little bit. He's got a tough defense to play against, but they're a little fractured after that implosion last week. Next game, Saturday night, we've got Louisville Kings heading down to the Storm in Orlando. Let's talk about the Kings. Head coach, pretty smart. He takes the points when he needs them. Now last week, Bean, quarterback, was pretty dang good. Everybody was a little surprised, but nice to see some clarity. Quarterback, pretty decent play, a little sketchy, but overall surprised everybody and did pretty well at the end. He's a little bit smaller quarterback, had a couple poor reads, a late interception to lose the game. A lot of stuff to learn from. The running backs, fumble at the goal line, oof. Wide receivers have pretty good hands, but there's some miscommunication there they got to dial in. Ran into each other on some crossing routes. The tight ends, some inconsistent hands. And for their defense, they were a little soft. They were quite exploitable. Had a little bit of weak tackling for the cornerbacks. The run stop was a little weak The play calling seemed pretty good, though. The fourth down conversion, heading into the half, wide open. Now let's talk about Orlando Storm. He got some great head coaching, and that back he's got some high energy. He's got an aggressive style, always trying to get points. And he's got quite a bit of experience. Offensive coordinator, pretty good run-pass mix play calling. He was keeping the defense off balance, and it weakened the defense the entire game. The Storm had a pretty poor passing game to start the game, but it definitely progressed strong as it went throughout the game. Now, Plummer's not super elite, but he's definitely efficient. Running backs have some great ball carrier vision, and you got Hamler out there, so that's a good name to have as a wide receiver. That defense on third down, that's pretty elite. That was notable pass rush on third down. So for week 2, Louisville Kings against the Storm, I'm going to take the Storm. And they'll probably cover, in my opinion. Alright, let's talk about the Sunday game. Birmingham Stallions heading to Houston Gamblers. Birmingham Stallions. Everyone had them ranked like number 2 going into the season. Not me. I had them at 4. And then I dropped them. McCarron, really composed. Just super low energy. I didn't know if he was excited or just hanging out. He was better than I expected, though. Low intensity. Low intensity. Offense was pretty good. Came up clutch on a lot of third downs and fourth downs. Strong wide receivers. Mickens. Woof. That dude's a beast. Pretty strong passing game with Corral. He just kept slipping the entire time, though. I saw him slip. Even the announcers were saying, oh, well, he's slipped like 4 times. And it's like 30 seconds into the first quarter. Silly. Stallions definitely have a strong offensive line. The running backs are strong. They can beat you to the outside and up the middle. The Stallions defense is pretty good overall. Kept it a low-scoring game. They were definitely strong in the red zone. Secondary wasn't too bad, but they're definitely exploitable. How about Gilmore, though? Ooh, that guy is a beast. He had a pretty decent run stop. Quick closing speed. I noticed that. They were to the ball fast. Had a decent quarterback pressure rate. And it was all right. Final chance to stop the Kings last week with a sack. Success. The defense secondary did stay elite at the end of the game, though. Kicker's kind of bad. Not that great. Stallions should have had a little bit more points there. And real quick, we'll talk about the Gamblers. They were just getting crushed. Throwing a pick 6. Incompletions galore. But they swapped out Henderson for Deckers. That was a good move. The secondary and the defense just kept giving up big passes. Giving up touchdowns. Tutty here, tutty there. But they did get a kick return touchdown. So I think Birmingham's going to go in there, keep the score low for the Gamblers, take advantage on the offense. The Stallions are just going to take it. I'd look for their run game. McFarland probably going to step it up, get a good game, so they can run out the clock and get out of there. And the last game is on Tuesday. I don't know why. St. Louis Battlehawks heading down to Dallas to play the Renegades. Now this should be a pretty good game. Battlehawks defense, they were pretty strong on their side of the field. They had some sacks early on, and they had more sacks throughout the game. I would call that a pretty good pass rush. Now let's talk about the number 1 Dallas Renegades. Passing game, top tier. Strong play calling on the defense. Strong start for the beginning, and then a little lax for the fourth quarter. But how about that quarterback, Austin Reed, breaking records? My goodness, that's elite. I feel bad for Louis Perez because I like Louis Perez. But that gives the Renegades that depth in case Reed has to sit one out. Anything happens, because it is football. All it takes is one play. The defense for the Renegades was just destroying the Gamblers. So bad that they had to swap quarterbacks. Pick 6. Super stingy defense. The Battlehawks secondary just shut down the Gamblers the entire game. So for my take, the number 1 Dallas Renegades are going to take out the number 3 St. Louis Battlehawks. It's going to be a good game, but I think we're going to get it this week. Thanks for tuning in. That's my rundown for the week 2 UFL season spring football. Let me know what you think below. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that smashing of the like buttons, because I'm going to be here next week to give you the week 3 video, and I'll be here for the rest of the season to give you every single game, every single team analysis, tell you exactly who I think is going to win and why. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. Smash the like button, share to your friends, let them know, hey, This guy, UFL. I'll see you next week. Peace out.